Meanwhile, an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council was called. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon expressed concern that another Israeli-Palestinian war could spill over into the rest of the Middle East. He repeated calls for a ceasefire. The Security Council also heard from the Palestinian and Israeli envoys to the UN, who blamed each other for starting the latest skirmish. CCTV's Liling joins us live with the details. And Liling, what's the UN doing to help mitigate these escalating attacks?
Yes, at the UN Security Council this session, the Secretary General again called for a ceasefire in what he described as an unsustainable status quo. Now, he said the conflict could spill over, that there's a threat of the conflict spilling over to the rest of the region in the Middle East, and that it is unacceptable for civilians to continue facing civilians on both sides to face the constant fear of attack. And we also heard from the Palestinian and the Israeli envoys to the UN at this session. And in a brief dramatic moment, the Israeli delegate played a recording of a siren that sounds over Israel during rocket attacks.
In the last 3 days, 442 rockets have been fired into Israel. That's one every 10 minutes. "15 seconds. That's how much time you have to run for your life. Imagine having only 15 seconds to find a bomb shelter. Now imagine doing it with small children or elderly parents or an ailing friend."
For days, Israel has persisted with its relentless attacks, launching hundreds of airstrikes and artillery bombardment against civilian areas in the Gaza Strip, terrorizing our people, killing dozens of civilians and injuring hundreds.
Now, we've heard that siren, but it's questionable how much that siren resonated with the Security Council members. The Palestinian envoy said that in the last 3 days, 90 people have been killed in attacks, while there have been, so far as I've seen, no reports of fatalities on the Israeli side. And in response to the siren, Riyad Mansour said that civilians in Gaza don't have those 15 seconds to run for cover. For them, with Israeli warplanes overhead, it is instant death. But what are the prospects of a ceasefire? At this juncture, that's what the UN is calling for. And I also understand that that Jordan, which represents the Arab League, has circulated a draft press statement calling for a ceasefire. Now, the Israeli delegate has said it's not interested in a ceasefire. It wants the dismantlement of Israel's missile infrastructure. And also developing, just breaking right now, we just heard confirmation from the Secretary General that the Swedish-Italian diplomat Staffan de Mistura has been named as the new UN Syrian envoy. We'll have more on that for you. Back to you, Elaine.
All right, that was speculated, now confirmed. Liling live at UN headquarters in New York. Thank you for that.